Hey everybody, we are looking at this problem symmetric tree. Given the root of a binary tree, check whether it is a mirror of itself. We are given this binary tree over here, and this you can see is a mirror where 1 is completely divided, so we would not consider that. 2 over here matches with this 2, and 4 is closer to the mirror, and over here also the 4 is closer to the mirror, and this is how mirrors would work. So if you take this subtree and you flip it around, you would get this subtree. So in this problem, we are not comparing if the trees are equal. We are comparing if they are symmetric, if they are mirrors of each other, which means if we are on this node, we go on the right, and on this node, we go on the left. We can write a very simple code to traverse a tree, and we can pass this node and this node for comparison. Let's suppose we have a tree like this. It is a symmetric tree. If you create a mirror over here, the subtrees are symmetric. So how about, to prove that this entire tree is symmetric, how about proving that this is a mirror of this? These subtrees are not symmetric. They are not supposed to be symmetric, but they should be mirrors of each other. So can we say that to prove that this is symmetric to this, can we say that this is going to be a mirror of this? So how about we keep dividing this problem into its subtrees and keep checking if they are mirrors or not? In this way, if we can prove that this is a mirror of this, the root would also be a mirror. Every time we go left in one tree, we go the opposite in right tree. So let's say this is P subtree, let's say this is Q subtree. Whenever we go P dot left direction, over here we go Q dot right, and vice versa. So now let's take a look at the code implementation of this algorithm. So I am here in the code editor. I have this function given is symmetric, which returns a bool, and the input is the root. Now, since I want to go in the left subtree and the right subtree, and I want to solve this using recursion, this function would not be sufficient for me. So I would like to write another function which has two parameters, one for the left subtree and one for the right subtree. So let's call it mirror. I'm trying to check that the two subtrees are mirror of each other. So I can say that, let's say the first subtree is P, the second subtree is Q. Now this function would give me a bool if they are equal. Over here in this function, I am given something like this node and this node, which the root would call. So over here, we would call this function as self dot mirror p dot root dot left and root dot right. So basically, I am at 2 and 2. The first thing I need to check if these two values are equal, which means if p dot value equals to q dot value, if these values are equal, I want to check even further, which means self dot mirror p dot left and q dot right, and I also want to check if the other subtree is also equal. Self dot mirror p dot right and q dot left. If they all return true, then I want to return the value of this as true. Now, where are we returning true and false anyways? So This over here would just check if 2 and 2 are equal, and then it would check all the subtrees. But when do we end? As you can see, we are not returning true or false anywhere. So over here, we can check that if P and Q both ended, which means we reached the end, and they both ended together, which means they are equal. They never returned an unequal output. So what we can do over here is we can say else return false. If they were unequal, we just return from here. We never return, which means if not P and not Q, they both ended and they never returned false, which means they are equal. So we can return true. They are, mirrors. We managed to traverse the entire array, sorry, the entire tree. What if one of them ended? If not P or not Q, one of them ended, but not the other. Okay. In that case, we can say that okay, one ended but not the other, which means they are not symmetric. They should be at least the same number of nodes. False. We can return false from here. Now, over here, since where we are calling this mirror function, we can return this. So this would return a true or false, and over here we can return the response. Let's run this code. Let's submit it. We have it passing.